Hi, this is Bree. I wanted to do a video today of the different sizes of Stalogies and compare and contrast the differences, so maybe you can get some useful information before you decide which Stalogy to go with, or you can know after you look at them if none of them are for you. But they all have some different features, and so I just thought we would run through them and maybe I can help somebody out there make a decision when they're trying to decide which one to get. I have my coffee here, so I'll be taking drinks occasionally. It's my first cup of the day and it's already the afternoon, so I will be drinking this. All right, so first and foremost, I guess, is that all of these have the same grid size. The only one that's different on the inside of the book is the A5. So the A6, B6, B5, and A4 all have this let me get a blank page here, this 5mm, very faint, there we go, grid. Then you have the A5, which has a 4mm grid. So here's them next to each other. So it's actually quite a bit smaller as far as like if you're planning on writing within the grid and that's actually going to matter to you. 4mm is, 20%. It's quite a bit smaller. So here I have the A4. Just stack them so you can compare the sizes a little bit. So if you don't know anything about the way notebook sizing works, I'll just give you the little bit of information that I know. This is the A4. This is the largest Stalogy that they have. It is roughly the size of a US letter, like normal printer paper. A4 is slightly taller, slightly thinner, but if you want a general idea, that's how big this notebook is. It's pretty big. This is their biggest. This is an A5, which is one of the more popular sizes because A5 notebooks are really nice for personal journal, planner, personal notebook. That is called an A5. It is half the size of an A4. And then you have A6, which is the smallest notebook they make, and that is half the size of an A5. So that's why they're called, what they're called. Then we have the B5 here, which is, it's still pretty large. It's kind of like the size of a notebook you would take to school. I think they're all pretty much like those Mead, spiral notebooks. They're all about this size. So this is a B5. And then a B6 is half the size of that. And a B6 is roughly 5 by 7 inches. So just to give you an idea of what we're looking at here for sizes. So this is quite a wide range of sizes here that you can get this notebook in. So they all, okay, let's start with these the four smallest ones. All are Stalogy 365s, which means they have about 368, I think, pages in them. They are notebooks that are meant to be a page per day for an entire year. So the only one that is not a 365 is the A4, and that one is actually quite a bit thinner, maybe even half the thickness, sorry for the glare, half the thickness of the 365 notebooks. And another thing that's unique to the A4 is that, first of all, the covers are very different. This cover is not sturdy at all. Like, these are thick and sturdy and have two coatings, and they're like really stuck on there. The A4 cover is extremely thin and is not coated on the inside with that gray, the gray paper or whatever that's on the inside of the 365s. And also, you see how the binding is? Maybe I can get it without the glare. It shuts and then comes all the way off like this. So it can go back flat completely, and you can still have the top binding there like a memo pad kind of would. But it does have a cover that will, come up and cover it. But this also has, so I've already said that, but it does have the 5mm grid. It does not have a space at the top for dates, which the other ones do have that space for dating. And the back of each sheet is actually completely blank. So I don't know if you'll be able to see it because, lighting issues, sorry. But each right-hand side of your book, the front of each page, I guess, is all has a grid, and the back of each one does not. And they're also, like, as you can tell, it's beautiful, silky smooth Stalogy paper. It's really nice. They do come out really easily of this book. This is meant, obviously, to be torn apart and used, like rip out a page when you're done with it or whatever. You can definitely tell. The binding is definitely different in this A4 than it is in all of the 365 notebooks. So I did mention that these are all the same, all these 4 are the same thickness, but these 3 actually do come in a what's called a half-year size, which is like, I'm trying to think the exact number of pages in them. I know I was told once. I don't remember. I do not actually own any of the half-year size notebooks because I just don't have any use for a thinner notebook really. But then it's just obviously enough for only a page per day for half of the year. So this A5 one, you can just get like Jet Pens, I believe, Amazon, in the US, but these other 2, I believe you can only order the half years from Japan. So from maybe a dealer in Japan or from like Amazon.jp, you can get these 2 in half year size. And then also, when we're on that topic, the A5 does come in some other cover colors. So it'll come in like a blue, yellow, red, gray, and I believe a cream colored. I also don't have any colored ones because I like very basic black and white. So, but the A5 comes in multiple colors, and all 3 of these, A6, B6, A5, all have a half-year option if you're interested in that. So I guess when you're trying to decide what notebook you want, obviously the first question would be, what do you plan to use it for? Sorry, I need to drink a coffee. Because if you're using it for taking notes in school versus a journal at home versus a planner you need on the go versus a weekly planner for your family of 7, oh, that's me. I picked 7 because it seemed like a big number, but that's my family. You obviously, you have all the options here that can cover any one of your needs, really. So you kind of just need to think like, how much space on each page do you need? Do you need to have something big so you can have it open on your desk and have a big spread of like your weekly, this is what we're doing every day of the week, trying to like organize when you guys have events going on, or if your kids have activities, or if you just have a really busy schedule full of appointments and you need to look at your week at a glance, then the A4 is going to be a great option for you because it's very large and holds a lot. I like this B5 size page for taking sermon notes. Not for scripture writing, but for taking sermon notes, because it has a lot of room on each page. You can like kind of get the big picture, but it also is not so big that it doesn't fit in my tote that I bring to church. So this is really, really great for that, which is, I did mention it's like the size of a notebook you would take to school if you went to, public school. This is like roughly that same size, so maybe that's why I thought it was so great for notes, for note taking. And then these 3 are all a lot more portable. The A5, the B6, and the A6 are all a lot easier to take on the go, a lot easier to fit into a purse or a bag or a diaper bag or something. It kind of just depends on how much space you want on each page, how much you need to get done on each page. Do you want like a planner where you only need a day per page, or do you want a journal where you can write, 2 or 3 entries in a page, kind of just depending on what you plan to use it for. So I did want to show this comparison real quick if it helps anybody. I use mainly a planner girl. I kind of have a whole bunch of planners, but these stickers are from Shine Sticker Studio, but these are a very common sticker size because they're all 1.5 inch width. So a lot of times if you're buying planner stickers, you can get like kits in these sticker sizes. And so I want to show a comparison in these 3 planners so maybe it can give you an idea of what you can and can't fit on each page without having to see these in person, since like unfortunately you can only buy these online pretty much. So I did it in an sorry, kids are yelling. So I did a spread in my A6, and you can pretty much just fit 2 columns. So either 2 very small days or 2 columns worth of 1 day on 1 page. Then in the B6, oh, you know what? I put it in my other one. Okay, sorry. It just became July and I just switched planners. But I did also do a spread in my B6 with same Shine Sticker Studio stickers so you could see that you can fit, it's like a perfect fit across, there's no wiggle room, but you can fit 3 full columns in a B6 spread. So you could do 3 columns of one day, or you could fit 3 whole days, or like technically an entire week spread in 2 pages, if that's what you're looking for. Or if you were doing an A5, you could do, I didn't do a full spread in here, but because this is going to be used for something else, but you can fit 3 columns across, just like in a B6. You can't fit 4, I tried, but there's a little bit more wiggle room in between each day. So if you like to go, you know, a little bit wider than the 1.5, if that helps anybody. I did not do it in any of my bigger ones. I know in the B5 you could fit 4 across, but that's really for like if you're definitely not bringing your planner out and about, because this is pretty big. All right, and the next thing you should think about is obviously how portable do you need it to be. I've already said that these 3 are a lot easier to take on the go, because this A5 is like about, I think, 5.5 by, 5.8 by 8.3 inches, I think. I'm sure if I knew the centimeters it would be a lot easier, like more round numbers, but it's small enough, it's fine. I mean, it does fit in like the Delphonics pouch, to get an idea, but because I have a Leuchtturm in here, and that's also an A5, but it's not super portable. It's still not that little, because I even feel like sometimes that my B6 is a little hard when you're taking it on the go. A6 is obviously the most portable. It's like a tiny little thing. You could fit into a big pocket, even like a jacket pocket. It would definitely fit in your purse. You could fit in like the smallest clutch. So obviously the most portable is the A6, but really any of these 3 could, if you need to take your planner with you, any of these 3 could probably work for you. So another thing just to note again is like how small is your handwriting? Would it bother you to write outside of the grid? Because the A5 has the smaller grid, it has the 4mm grid, and the rest of them have 5mm. So if you just have really big handwriting, A5 might not be the way to go, unless you're just not picky about if your handwriting goes outside the grid. I love using the grid to make my handwriting perfectly even, because I just like the look of that better, but A5 might be a little bit harder if you have big handwriting. And then another thing I was thinking about is if you want to have it in a cover. So this is my B6 journal, but it's a Stalogy, and I have it in a hand-stitched leather tee cover, just to keep it, well, the cover is beautiful, first of all, but to keep everything, the pages, like they can't get bumped from the side and get crinkled, or it can't, you know, it protects the cover a little bit. I'm sorry, the actual Stalogy black cover a little bit. But I have this cover. Foxy Fix makes it so much more convenient to be in my office. I'm just realizing that, because I can like just grab everything. Foxy Fix makes covers. I don't think they're open right now because of the virus, but they will eventually make covers, and you can find these on buy sell trade groups that fit the notebooks, and same things just to protect it. But the A6, B6, and A5 are going to be the easiest sizes to get a cover in, if that matters to you. The B5, I have seen covers, and I, for the life of me, cannot remember the name of the shop that I was in recently, and they had a B5 cover, but they're definitely out there. Maybe it was Galen Leather. I don't know. You can definitely find it. It's just not going to be as easy, and you won't have it in every shop. Pretty much every shop that makes planner covers is going to make them in, or notebook covers, I guess they'd be called, did make them in an A6, a B6, and an A5, all. So that's pretty much all I can think about to tell you about the differences between these. I hope that the information helped somebody, because it's just such a pain when you're trying to figure out exactly what notebook to use. If you're not sure, if you're stuck between 2 sizes, I would just recommend going up a size, and if you like absolutely hate it, you can first of all journal on a page, or put pictures on a page, or a million other different things to use up pages, practice your hand lettering, practice your doodling. But if you don't have enough room on your page, that's where it becomes like a pain in the ass, because then you're just kind of stuck where like, okay, I need to have this information down, but I can't fit it, so maybe I need to grab a second notebook, and it just becomes a mess. So if you are stuck between 2, I would suggest just going up a size, and then you can always downsize later. So I think that's all I have for today. Yeah, if you have any questions or need to see anything else, let me know down in the comments, and I'm just going to film a quick pen test, I think, in one of the Stalogies, and I will probably just link that to the end of this video to keep things easy. So if you're interested in that, just stick around for the pen test. And if not, I will see you in the next video. Bye. All right, so here is the pen test for the Stalogy paper. Actually, okay. I'm just trying to find a page that's easier to write on because this is my like very used up planner from the first half of the year. Okay, so I just grabbed a few pens here so we can see. Oh, let me grab one more. This one. This one I know is awesome, and I want you guys to see how awesome this one is. All right, I have an array of some gel pens, felt tip pens, and I'll just say them as I use them. Papermate Flare, and then I grabbed one ballpoint pen. I don't have ballpoint pens ever. This is my husband's. He likes the cheapest, crappiest ballpoint pens. He loves them, and I absolutely hate them. So I did find this one in a drawer in my kitchen to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write with them, do a smear test, and then if you can't see very well, I will be zooming in a little bit. And then I'm also going to afterwards go over with the Tombow so you can just see if highlighting them smears them even after they dry, and if they don't smear with your finger, you can see which pens are good for highlighting. All right, first I'm writing with the Bic ballpoint pen. I don't even like my handwriting in this pen. Seriously loathe ballpoint pens. Okay. Oh, that was a zebra Sarasa mark on. And a zebra fountain pen, like a disposable fountain pen. And the Zebra Sensations. I have a lot of zebra. This is a technical drawing pen in the 0.3 millimeter. I use this for writing in my Bible, taking notes. And I have a Staedtler pigment liner in a 0.1. I've noticed that 0.5 and above tends to fully bleed through Stalogy paper. So I only use the 0.1 or 0.3 in my Stalogy. And then this Sharpie, the ultra fine point with that like little needle tip. It's a Pilot Juice in a 0.38. Oh, it's barely showing up. I don't think it's dried out either, it's just super tiny. And then a Papermate Inkjoy in a 0.5. This is a gel pen from Simply Gilded. I believe it's in a 0.7 millimeter. You know what? This one still has the thing on it. Same pen, different month. And then last is a Papermate Flare pen. I cannot find my black one, so we're gonna deal with this like magenta, fuchsia color. So since Stalogy paper is like that, almost like waterproof, really silky smooth, nice to write on paper, I've noticed that most pens smear, except for a few felt tip pens, most pens smear immediately. So I usually just give whatever I wrote, I give it a good 5-10 seconds at least, because it's just one of the downsides of writing on this nice paper, like the Stalogy or Hobonichi. It's just that it will smear. But most of them I found don't smear after like 10 seconds. 30 if it's like a super liquidy gel pen. But I mean, none of these smeared after you just give it a little bit of time. So then I'm going to go over with the Tombow and we'll see if any of them smear after being re-wet by like a water-based highlighter. Don't want to get ink from previous ones. Okay, so if we're looking at which ones smear after being wet by a highlighter, it's hard to tell because it's so thin, but the Pilot Juice 0.38 definitely did smear. The Inkjoy did smear a little bit. The Simply Gilded pen smeared quite a bit because that's like, it's a lot of, like, it's very liquidy gel pen ink in there. The Zebra Fountain pen is really liquidy, and that one also smeared. But the Bic pen did not. Zebra Sarasa Mark On is like my favorite for like liquidy gel pens but that don't smear, and that's this one right here in a 0.4. The 0.5 also works really well. I've only found these on jet pens. They're on Amazon, but I've noticed that they cost more and you can't buy like just one. You have to buy a huge set of them, so I just get them on jet pens. Plus I would rather support jet pens. But then like the Sensations, the Pigment Liner, the Sharpie, and the Papermate Flare are all the felt tip, and none of those smear. So this is really great paper for most any pen, really. The really liquidy gel pens still do work fine and won't smear, won't get on your next page. You just can't highlight them. So if you like a gel pen that you can highlight, I would suggest like the Sarasa Mark On pen. That one works really well. Otherwise, ballpoint, you're probably fine. Felt tip pen, you're probably fine. So if you have any questions about those or want me to try a different pen or whatever, just let me know. You can send me an email or leave a comment down below. And that's it. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.